Agile, yeah! Welcome back to the Agile Product Owner. Today we're going to continue our discussion regarding Scrum theory. We're going to be looking at the first of the empirical Scrum pillars, transparency. My favorite pillar. And really, I think the one that makes the whole framework possible, essentially. The emergent process and work must be visible to those performing the work as well as those receiving the work. With Scrum, important decisions are based on the perceived state of its three formal artifacts. Artifacts that have low transparency can lead to decisions that diminish value and increase risk. The artifacts that they're referring to here are the three Scrum artifacts: the product backlog, the sprint backlog, and the increment. Transparency enables inspection. Inspection without transparency is misleading and wasteful. Yes to all of this. So first of all, why is transparency my favorite pillar of Scrum? It's largely because it just syncs with my kind of way of living my life, basically. Like, I've always been that person who tells the truth even when people don't want to hear it, who brings up the unpopular opinion in meetings. Like, I'm notorious for pushing conversation on things that people kind of want to bury their heads in the sand on, and just being open and honest, brutally open and honest, and sometimes to my own detriment. I'm ruthless about exposing my own weaknesses and areas of improvement, and I love getting feedback so that I can continually improve myself. And so this whole idea of transparency just syncs with my psychology, but it's also just absolutely critical to the day-to-day functioning of a Scrum team. So the emergent process and work must be visible to those performing the work as well as those receiving the work. Yes. So you have to have transparency within the Scrum team as well as outside of it. So with your stakeholders, with your leadership. I mentioned in the previous video that this is one of the primary methods of controlling risk to me, because risk in project management, at least a portion of it, is the risk of not meeting stakeholder expectations. And the easiest way to set unrealistic expectations is to not be transparent with your stakeholders, to obfuscate, to hem and haw, oh yeah, we're working on it, oh, we don't know, to live in that kind of gray area where you're trying to not get pinned down increases a tremendous amount of risk in terms of stakeholder expectations. And so the solution to that is to be transparent, to be completely honest. No, we cannot work on that right now. This is why. This is our product backlog. These items, based off of our analysis, which was done this way, rise higher in priority than yours. Therefore, yours will have to wait. And yelling about it will not change that. Be transparent about that fact, about the fact that you have a process. You've made a judgment call as a product owner. You are empowered to make that judgment call, and you are not going to change it as a result of a change in the volume of the participants, And that transparency will buy you so much goodwill. I almost feel like there's a part of this sentence missing. Transparency enables inspection and collaboration. The collaboration that's possible within Scrum is absolutely one of the core strengths of the methodology, and it cannot exist in an environment where you're trying to obfuscate or cover your CYA. I'll leave it at that. Because your stakeholders will not trust you. They won't believe you. Your Developers won't believe that you're there for them, that you truly feel like you're a part of the team, that you're invested. And your leadership they'll question whether or not you should even be empowered to make decisions. They'll question whether what you're doing is of value. And this ties into the Scrum values as well. Openness is one of the Scrum values. Courage is one of the most critical Scrum values to me. I've toyed with time and again the idea, even prior to launching this channel, making a video just how about being a product owner requires just gobs of mental durability and courage. But this is all to say that if you can just commit to the transparent aspect of the work, you will radically increase the level of collaboration that you are getting between yourself, your stakeholders, and the development team. And that collaboration will buy you out of so many potential conflicts that it's worth the trade-off. It's worth the feeling uncomfortable. I mean, it's uncomfortable to be transparent. It's not easy. It's way easier to kind of lurk in the shadows. But to be an effective product owner, you have to go the exact opposite way. You have to be infinitely accessible. And if you're accessible, you need to be transparent. And so that's why I feel like transparency is just so critical. If this is a set of pillars, you could even maybe think of them as being stacked on top of each other, and transparency is that bottom pillar. It's the one that's holding the whole thing up. Because your inspection is going to be worthless, as they call out here, if you're not transparent. If you're not transparent with yourselves, if you're not transparent with the work that you've done. Hey, this did not work out in the previous sprint. We need to try something new. And to say that when people don't want to try something new because it's 2 weeks before Christmas and they don't want to think about this stuff. They just want to go back to their desks and code and go home. It's critical to the continuous improvement process. It's critical to your stakeholder relationship management. Your relationship with the team, the development team, the Scrum team is going to respect you so much more if you're not trying to hide things, manipulate them, if you're just being open and honest. And so it's going to empower all of those collaborations, and the collaboration is one of the primary duties of the product owner, as far as I'm concerned. So that's my take on the Scrum pillar of transparency. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm happy to kind of expand on this if people have questions, and I will talk to you later.